Hello, today I'm going to be giving a demonstration of my final year project for 4th year's games development at Carlow IT. A quick overview of the project. It is a level editor, level creator, level loader that will handle a level that you want to create for games using SFML, Box2D and TGUI. They're the main three libraries. When you create a level with this, you're going to be able to import it into other projects. So the level loader, I've created a level loader and a shape manager. Both of them will be in the project. You can use them in the project where you create the level. So you don't have to do anything other than create the level using my software and then import the DLL into your project and you'll be able to use it. So I'll just run the project here and we'll give a quick overview. So you're met with a blank screen. You've three main buttons up here. There is a create button. I should move this down. This will show you all of the shapes you're able to create. So you're able to create any primitive shapes, triangles, squares, circles, all the way up. This one here is for an edge. So if you click, you're able to drag around and place an edge. And then this final one here is for importing sprites into the project. So obviously, with levels, you might not always want primitive shapes. You can click this and pick. You'll get met with a loader here. You're able to pick PNGs that you have inside of your project. One of I have that here is brick, so I can open that, and then I will get met with a brick texture. I can place it down in all places. I can just stamp it down or press escape to close it. You can see up here that the brick was successfully loaded. That's using my own texture manager. I have one of them built into it, so there is no need to load texture or have multiple references to one texture. So I handle that for you as well with the loader. You're able to edit these so you can move them along one axis by using the arrows, or you can click on the shape and drag it around freely, either or. There's a few different options here that we can go with, but we can just go into here. This last tab will allow you to change the details for this project, or this shape. You're able to name the shape, which when you go to load it into your own project, obviously I could name this player, and then when I search for player, I'll get this brick, or I could give it a tag of brick, and then when I search for a brick by tag, I'll find this shape. All of which is based towards when you load this into your project, you might need to get access to this brick, or you might want to move it. So I've handled that. You're able to manually enter where you want it. So say you want it on an X value, a Y value, you're able to rotate it at 45 degrees. You're able to change the type. So dynamic obviously means it'll be affected by gravity and all other forces. Static, it will not move no matter what, and kinematic means that it will not be modified by external things, so shapes hitting it won't matter, gravity won't matter, but you're still able to move it through applying forces yourself. You're also able to scale it. With sprites this can sometimes look bad, but obviously you can change that. You can make it a trigger. If I click this one and make it a trigger, that will mean that if something hits it, it will set off a callback, but it won't move or affect the shape at all. I've changed its visibility. You can toggle that. You can still see an outline here. The outline is only in the editor, so if you bring this into another project, you will not see that outline. That's just a bit of a debug thing for myself in the editor. We can turn it back on. You can change some of the values here. You can also stamp down any number of shapes you want. Everything like that. You're able to run the level to see how it will all respond. Obviously our trigger fell through the floor because there's no collisions with that. It won't affect anything. You're also able to enter in a name, and we can just name this test, and then you can save it, and if you go to load, you'll be able to see our test level here. The load button also allows you to load any levels you've already saved. Okay, now that I've shown you a few things about the project, I'm going to give you an example of a quick level that I threw together. So if I run this again, I can press the load button and you'll see a few of these. So platform is the level that I created for the purpose of this. So if I load it, a few things load in. So if I select this and I can edit everything, so you can see that this shape up here, it's called the player. Now I just used a various number of shapes and the sprite as well. I just got this texture. As you can see, I've tagged each of these sprites with platform, with one exception as to this middle one. I've given it a name, mover. I'll explain all this when I'm going over it. I've also created a bullet image here, tagged it bullet, set it so it's a trigger, and then I've just set up the body so it's kinematic and stuff. This is because I have given the shape manager the ability to copy items. So when I'm creating the level, I want the player to be able to shoot a bullet. So the easiest way I can do this is create the bullet in the editor, and then I'll just clone this bullet when the program starts, and then I'll just remove this bullet. Otherwise, I could create it all through code, but obviously for someone who might not know how to set it up, or just for ease of, just to make it easier, they can do that. I've also done the same thing with this shape here. As you can see, it's tagged as an enemy. A few of the scale here has been changed, so he's thinner than the player, so you can distinguish them. I'm going to do the same with that. I'm going to take a copy of this, and then I can just paste it. And when I'm going to paste it is, I've added these two transparent shapes here. So I've called the left one, I've given a name of left spawner, and the right one is right spawner, and these are both triggers and not visible. So when I play the game, I'm going to link into these, and when the player collides with these, I'm going to spawn in some enemies, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to set that up now. So I'm going to close this and run the project. I'll show you what it looks like first. So this is what it looks like when it's running. So this is the game I put together. So I said you can move the player left and right with key inputs. You can jump. I gave him quite a nice jump, so obviously he can jump up onto the platforms. He won't go through them. If he's on this platform, then I'm not touching anything. He'll just glide along with the platform and then obviously slide off it. Now the imaginary trigger is here. I know where it is, whereas another player might not know where it is. You could add some invisible things in there. So as I said, it's visible in the editor, but in the actual game it's not. So if I walk in here, you can see I've spawned in some enemies, and then obviously I can shoot bullets here. So again, I just took a clone of the bullet and the enemies that I made, and then I'm able to just shoot the enemy. And if I come over here, enemy will spawn here. I can shoot at him and shoot at him. So I have all this set up. I'll go through how easy it is with the code now. So there's another project here. There's a few files here, but a lot of them aren't being used. So if we just go into our platform scene, all we have to do code-wise is create a level loader and call load level. So you'll have to link into my level loader, and then there's a DLL that goes with that. So you can build it all and it'll all work fine. So you basically create an instance of the level loader. It doesn't need to be, it can just be a local one like this. Call load level and give it the path to the level that you've created. And then that's it. If I just did that, the level would work perfectly fine. There's also a find feature. So when I give players names, I can retrieve that object. So I pass in the player, and then obviously I just check for inputs. And then the enemy spawner, this is the more interesting one. You can also find by tag, because I tagged the enemy rather than giving them a name. I did a tag for the bullets, because it's easier for the bullets to check a tag. So if I go into my enemy spawner, all I simply have to do is I get an instance of the shape manager. It is a singleton, so I don't have to pass it around everywhere. And then all I have to do is call clone, and then I pass in the shape I want to copy and where I want to copy it to. So I've created a template shape, and then I just destroy the original shape. And then all I have to do here is change the on trigger for the left spawner. So that's the triggers that I set up. So if it collides with the player, so if what it collides with is called player, then it calls spawn left, which instantiates my copy and gives it a position. So the Shape Manager will handle a lot surrounding games, and a lot of the functionality is made a lot cleaner. So everything you see there is being done in a scene that is very, very simple, very clean, and very easy to manage. And that is basically everything to do with my project. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this.